Hi, everyone. I'm Honda from the Google Play Partnership Market Consulting team. The mission of our team is to help developers identify the right market to tap into and form an optimized expansion strategy. I believe here in the audience, most of apps are available in multiple countries. As in the mobile world, it is easy to make your apps available and monetizable in any country of the world. What you need to do is just check one checkbox on Google Play Console. However, a successful market expansion is definitely a more challenging and complex process. That's why today we're here to discuss some of the key considerations for you to think about when you try to expand your app business footprint. If we take a look at the app consumer spend growth trend on Google Play over the past 5 years, breaking down by consumer spend from developers' home markets and X market as shown in the chart here, we can see that spend is growing faster in developers' export markets. That's the dark blue portion of the chart. This means that the app's actually experiencing fast growth through expanding internationally. So, can we capture this opportunity? And what does it take to expand internationally? From our observation, market expansion could not be successful without an accurate market evaluation. You should have an accurate understanding on market size, the growth rate, and most importantly, the opportunity and challenges in each market. And in the following slides, we are going to walk you through these three perspectives based on the recent trends we observed on Google Play, and eventually to help you form your expansion strategy. Let's first take a look at market size. We think understanding the market size would help you glean into the already captured opportunities. Here, we actually break down market size as a function of average consumer spend per app and total number of monetizing app. This way, you would be able to see in different markets the potential opportunity for an average app and also how fierce the competition you will be facing. Now, let's examine this for the top 15 markets by total app consumer spend on Google Play. When we look at average consumer spend per app, we see US, Japan, and Korea stand out. Their average consumer spend per app is much higher than others. Also, multiple emerging markets pop out on the top 15 list. Some of them even have higher average consumer spend per app than many developed Western markets, mostly due to their population size. Good example here are Brazil, Turkey, Indonesia, and Mexico. But when we take a look at total number of monetized apps, you could clearly see US is way ahead of others. This is because that firstly, US has a strong app developer base. And also, it is the market that everyone wants to expand into. That's why we can see that US market is big, but it could be potentially crowded. How about other markets? We see English-speaking markets similar to US, like UK, Canada, and Australia, also have a greater diversity in monetizing app. It is probably because that the localization investment and entry barrier in these markets are low. There are attractive market after US for many apps because if you already have a product for US, it is pretty easy for you to expand your user base in these markets. So hopefully, this short intro either validate your export market shortlist or give you a starting point to understand the opportunity. Moving on, evaluating market opportunity is not just about understanding total spend volume, but you also need to understand how slow or fast the market is growing in your categories. That's why we also need to evaluate the market growth to understand the future. Before we dive into the market growth, we want to make this insight contextual for you so that you can follow along to see your most relevant user base is growing faster or slower. For that, we use a simple product experience classification Familiar to many of you from last year's Playtime, and Tammy also mentioned it in the last session, we will look at growth separately by content, feature, and social-driven apps, as this product experience follow different growth dynamic in different markets. In the next few slides, you will see some charts similar to this one we show on the screen here. Markets will be grouped by whether the product experience growth rate is higher or lower, slower than global average app consumer spend growth rate. If the market is in the top dark green boxes, that means that the market growth rate is at least 15 percentage points faster than global average. And if the market is in the bottom dark red boxes, that means that the market is growing 15 percentage points slower. And why we separate fast and slow growth markets? Because you can follow a different expansion strategy based on if there's a rapidly versus more moderately growing markets. In faster than average growing markets, you probably want to catch the growth wave. And in slower than average markets, you might meet denser competition. And now, let's take a look at how content apps stack up. Firstly, at the top, in the dark green box, you can see that all of them are emerging market, which means that these emerging markets for content apps, they're growing at least 15 percentage points faster than global average. Secondly, below that, you see English-speaking country and France, where content apps also have faster growth. While at the bottom, you can see Italy with a signal of growth slowing down for content apps. For feature apps, we also see strong growth from emerging markets as well, while we observe slower growth rate in English-speaking markets, Japan, and Spain, which means that this market might be maturing or underinvest for feature apps. Thirdly, for social apps, most of the top markets are growing faster than global, except for US, Japan, Korea, plus India. So we map out the fast and slow growth markets for content, feature, and social-driven apps. Now you might ask, why are some countries in the green and some countries in the red? In order to better understand this, we further break down product experience into subcategories. On the screen, from left to right, you can see that we classify content apps based on what content they're providing. For feature apps, we categorize them based on if it is a task-oriented app, for example, VPN apps, video editing apps, etc., or it is a goal-oriented app like language learning app, health and fitness apps, etc. For social app, we categorize them based on what the main social experience is. So hopefully, you could find one of this subcategory match your app's main product experience. And now we have the growth market and product experience subcategory defined. Let's see which sub-product experience is driving the growth in different markets. Let's start with the content sub-product experience. On the right, each box represents one content sub-product experience. And the markets in these boxes are the ones that grow at least 5 percentage points faster than global for each sub-experience. If you are a streaming content app developer, the good news for you is that it shows great growth momentum in many countries. That's also why we see so many flags here. At the bottom of the boxes, you can see in markets like Turkey, Indonesia, Canada, and France, streaming content all have a faster growth, no matter it is licensed watch content, UGC live streaming content, or listening content. Additionally, in Japan and Latam, like Brazil and Mexico, users have growing interest in UGC live streaming content. Also consider integrate a good audio experience into your apps, as the growth is happening across most of the top markets. As for reading content, it has fast growth in only a few markets, as we are back to a world that countless distraction competing for users' time and attention, while reading content demands a higher level of dedication and junior interest. Moving on to feature apps. We can see in emerging markets like India, Brazil, Mexico, and Turkey, no matter it's the task-driven feature apps or self-development goal-oriented apps, They're both growing 5% faster than global average. In mainland Europe and Korea, faster growth are observed for those apps to get tasks down. For example, tools, productivity, and utility apps. In Japan, apps that help users achieve personal hobby or goals grow faster. Finally, looking at social apps, we see messaging social apps have faster growth in Western Europe, Australia, and some emerging markets like Mexico and Turkey. And for social community apps, in all top emerging markets, Canada, and most of the mainland Europe, it grows stronger. So, if you want to exploit your growth in this market, think about how to add experience to connect communities. If we put all the growth market we showed before on one slide, you probably will be overwhelmed by all the flags and data here. And you now may have a question. How can you use this knowledge for your own app's benefit? One thing you could consider is when planning your product long-term roadmap, factor in those popular product experience that drive growth in particular markets. Adding those popular user experience might amplify your existing presence or make entering the export market smoother. For example, no matter your app's primary value proposition is, think about how social feature or a sense of community can drive growth in emerging markets. Or how utility or motivational feature can drive appeal users in Japan and Korea. Or whether your product could include video or audio content to speed up the growth. Everything we have covered so far has been about how to go after growth. However, there are markets that growth might be slowing down, but because of the size or because certain type of product experience appeal to a market, you might still want to include them in your expansion strategy. So in the last section, we'll give you a simple framework for you to evaluate the top 15 markets by each product experience so that you can understand each market's opportunity and challenges. We think by evaluating the market's opportunity and challenges, you will be able to identify the markets that fit your product and eventually form the optimum expansion strategy. The framework we use here is the 2-bar-2 chart you see on the screen. Here, we combine the product experience market share benchmark and growth rate benchmark together to get this product experience market landscape. For each product experience and market combination, we can put them into one of these 4 quadrants. Here we have high share, high growth market, which means that the product experience has a greater market share and faster growth than global. Conversely, we also have low share, low growth market, where the product experience has a lower share and lower growth rate than the global. Now, let's take a look at the market landscape assessment example for watch license content together. In the chart, you can see Indonesia is in the growing markets cohort, which is the upper right of the chart. It means that in Indonesia, watch license content has a higher consumer spend share of wallet and also faster growth than global. We also see India in the emerging quadrant, which is the upper left corner. This shows that India, which watch license content has much faster growth rate than global, but it still counts for a smaller portion of total India app consumer spend. At the same time, in Italy, although we see watch license content has a higher spend share, the growth is slower, signaling that the market might be maturing. That's why it is in the bottom right developed quadrant. In the following slides, we will walk you through what should be the key question you need to ask when forming your expansion strategy for each type of the markets. And you can apply for that framework to a target or existing market based on which quadrant the markets are in. So after seeing the market landscape example, I guess the first thing that popped into your mind probably would be, I should prioritize those markets with high growth. However, actually, no matter which quadrant the market is in, it might potentially have an expansion opportunity. The key to capture this opportunity and maximize the success is to have an optimum expansion strategy that fits the market and your product. And now let's go over each quadrant one by one. If your target market is in the growing quadrant, for example, some Western Europe markets for messaging and social apps, it seems that those markets are the markets you must expand into if you are a messaging social apps developer. However, before you make that decision, ask yourself, how long will this high growth sustain? Are you too late to join the party after you localize your product? Evaluate the addressable market size and market penetration to understand the sustainability of the growth. If your product is not ready, you need to reevaluate the opportunity until it is. Moving on, if a market is in the emerging quadrant, for example, watch license content in India, ask yourself, what are the key drivers fueling this high growth? Is it driven by overall Indian market growth, or it is driven by the growing interest in paying for watch license content in India? How big overall the watch license content is in India? Is there a sizable offline market for you to digitalize? Is your app tailored enough to accelerate the digitalization? Do you have localized pricing or attractive localized content for India users? For those in developed quadrant, for example, reading content in Japan and Korea, the competition might be fierce, but if you can win over the competition, the result will be rewarding. Think about your competition strategy. The reading content expansion in Japan and Korea is mainly driven by the digitalization of manga over the years. What strategy they employ for accelerating the manga digitalization? And how can your product provide a unique value proposition? Maybe it is to convert manga to short form video drama to ride the wave of watch license content. Finally, if the market is in constrained quadrant, for example, task-oriented app in Japan, don't be frustrated. It might be a challenging market, but it could be a market that no one has tapped into. Evaluate the market by asking the question, is task-oriented apps in Japan really a niche market? Or it is just because it hasn't been fully digitalized yet? Why is the market this way? Is there any factor hindering the expansion? Who are the existing competitors? And can you do better? As we said, opportunity might exist in any markets. More important is to understand the opportunity and challenges so we can form the optimal expansion strategy for the markets you feed. There are actually many more aspects of a market which are worth briefly mentioning here. For example, user acquisition strategy would vary by markets. Different markets would have different legal and compliance requirements. High quality localization and culturalization is vital for market expansion success. And lastly, different market might also require different pricing and monetization strategy. So to close out, as mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, market expansion is not just checking a checkbox on Google Play Console to make your apps available in a specific market. It actually requires accurate market evaluation, a lot of investment, and commitment. For market size, not just only focus on the overall consumer spend volume, but also evaluate the competition dynamics. For growth, it is important to understand the fundamental drivers and durability. Opportunities might exist in any markets. More important, it is to understand opportunity and challenges so that you can have your optimal expansion strategy for the markets you feed. Once you shortlisted the markets you want to tap into based on the market landscape we share with you later, here are some last tips. Starting with the markets that you're familiar with, or starting with tests in the market that the localization cost or user acquisition cost is low. This would definitely increase your chance of having an ROI positive market expansion. Hope you could leverage the framework we share with you today to form your product expansion strategy in the future.